Hi, I'm Kim Grossett, and today I'm going to tell you about GIMKIT. It's a game to gamify learning, similar to Kahoot, but has more features. So people are calling this Kahoot on steroids because of the features that Kahoot doesn't have that GIMKIT does. It's available at gimkit.com, and it's more engaging to students than Kahoot because they answer individually, asynchronously, and their scores are posted on the overhead screen if you'd like as the educator. But they can answer in their own time. They have more time to answer each question. It's more challenging because the questions are on a continuous loop and they see them several times during the game. And it's also a game within a game where students can compete against each other. And we all know from our experience with Kahoot that students love doing that. But our big question, is it free, or are they going to let me use it for free and then start charging after I've really gotten into it? There is a free basic account, and it is very basic. It doesn't have many of the features. And from what I can tell, and I really had to dig to find this, you only get to make 3 kits. They call them kits. A kit is a quiz on Kahoot. On GIMKIT, it's a kit. And from what I can tell, with the basic account, you only get 3 of those, and that's not really great. The GIMKIT Pro account is $10 a month or $60 for a year, which isn't bad. Maybe especially as a librarian, because you do have a budget that you could spend on subscriptions. But if we're spending $60 a pop and 6 subscriptions to things like this, it does get up there. So if you're in a department, like for instance, my English department, $650 for the year if we have a budget, up to 20 teachers. Of course, we had 26 in our department, so I don't know, sharing logins, maybe not really ethical, but if you can get your school to spring for it, it's $1,000 for the entire school. So the purpose of the tool is to gamify, and that really engages students, especially high school students that I'm focused on. They're exposed to the information several times during the game. So if they don't answer the question correctly the first time, then they have another chance. And just seeing that question and answer several times should ensure mastery. Students can submit questions in a group. They collaborate. Of course, if you have the membership, there's Kit Collab, and they can collaborate together and make their own kits. And that really lets them take ownership of their learning. And they win money, and I'm putting money in air quotes. They win money and they can buy upgrades as they play. So I'm just going to highlight some features that are different from Kahoot. So the money, the air quote money, is what's different. They get money for correct answers, and they can lose money for incorrect answers. And so that's where the competition comes in. They answer questions at their own pace. So this isn't a timed question like in Kahoot where all the students answer. That's really not equitable, because if you're the first to answer, you get the points. And even though another student answers it correctly, they don't get, it's by correct answer by time. So the students who need a little more time to answer, read the question and comprehend and think about it and answer, never get to be in first or second or third place, because their answers don't register in time to be counted, and that's sort of a drag. Like I said before, the questions are on a continuous loop, so students are able to answer more than once, and there is a report that can be seen on the librarian or educator screen in real time to let you know if a student is having trouble with a certain concept. It's really great because it helps you see what needs to be retaught, or, if students are having a trouble with a concept, what needs to be gone over again. Super easy to set up a kit. Teachers can import questions from Quizlet. If you've used Quizlet, that's like a flashcard type of app, you can just import those. So you could let them review with the flashcards on Quizlet and then import those into GIMKIT and have a quiz or a kit generated. And this does allow for collaboration. As I said, with Kit Collab, the students work together, make a kit, submit the questions to the educator who can thumbs up or thumbs down on those and generate a kit or a quiz with those questions that the students made. So here is the how you enter a game. It's very similar to Kahoot. You have the code, which we're all familiar with, and you can see students sign in and see when they're ready to start the game. Extremely, I think it's even the same colors as Kahoot. And here's what the students will see on their device. If they're using their cell phone or an iPad to answer the questions, they see the question here at the top of their screen and then 4 different colors. You do have to be sure to set the correct answer because it doesn't kind of prompt you to do that as Kahoot does. And then here's the shop where the students can spend their money that they've earned. You set how many points and how much money per question they can win. And then you can set a multiplier where every dollar they earn can be multiplied for like a bonus question. And it could work for the money they earn and the money they lose. I would probably not multiply the money they lose. That seems like a drag, but definitely multiply, like for bonus points, answer this, and let them have a multiplier on what they can earn. A streak bonus. So if they answer 2 or more questions in a row correctly, they're on a streak and they get bonus points or bonus money for that. And students, if they have money, they can make purchases. They can purchase the insurance so they could get like a free answer. An answer wrong could be not counted against them. And then this is what students can do. They can play games against each other. So Floor is Lava, where they have to stay above a certain points level or they get kicked out of the game. Trust No One, where you can find imposters and vote them off, vote them off the Survivor Island. This would be not for a serious quiz review or a quiz, but for the trivia games at the end of your unit, like after book club or after you've taken the quiz or test. This would be a fun way to answer questions and be able to compete with your friends. So I just want to say a word about equity and access because that's always one of my concerns with technology in all cases at my school. I taught at a Title I school, and I know everyone thinks that every teenager has a cell phone permanently attached to their hand, but they do not. And a lot of times, say if I had a Kahoot in class and the students were going to use their phone, I would always, in 7 classes a day, have a student or more than one tell me that they don't have a phone, that their phone is not on because of lack of payment, and they would say, my phone's turned off and it won't be turned back on until my dad gets paid. And many students do not have an unlimited data plan. They have pay as you go. So they load their phone like on payday, and if it runs out before the next payday, then tough cookies. So I would just say, many times I let a student borrow my phone. I know everybody's not cool with that. Many times I let students pair up or group up and no more than 3, but that's for something that you're doing for a formative assessment. That's not a good idea because you cannot assess individual students that way. So I would say it takes a lot of planning ahead, but reserving iPads. My school had 10 iPads for a school of 1,800 students. So that's not really an option for me. But the laptop cart had 24 laptops on it, even though I had 30 students usually. But planning ahead that way, or maybe the most equitable way is just to reserve that computer lab so all students can just play on the school's computers. But again, super lot of advanced planning. So about GIMKIT, the student privacy looks good on this. They're FERPA compliant, COPA compliant. Students do not have to make an account to play the game. To have a report and be able to assess them and see where they need help, they would need an account, but all they need for that is their first name and their last initial. and their school email address. So I think that's really good. They don't ask for much PI at all. Educator, to set up an account, all you need is your name and email, the name of your school, your content area, country and zip code. They promise they're not selling your information to anyone because they are funded by the subscriptions. There's no advertisement. So I think privacy issue is really good on this. And how I would use this tool in the library, I would definitely use it for those trivia games. It would be really fun with a book club to play these trivia games, or maybe make a game for the English department when they're doing a novel study. I think it'd be super fun for icebreakers. I read an article where an educator used it for icebreakers, and she also used it for professional development in the library with teachers. For reviewing for a quiz and for actual quizzes. I've never used a Kahoot or a digital tool for a quiz. We've always just done it on paper, but it scores them for you and automatically gives you a report. So that would be pretty easy for an educator. But I think for reviews, for tests or quizzes, it would be really great. Here are my standards. And here are my references, and I've included here this YouTube video of a middle school teacher who talks about how she uses it in her classroom. It's really interesting. And then this is a very detailed tutorial. It's 25 minutes long. So it is very detailed. And if you watch this, you will be a pro in no time at GIMKIT. So I hope you'll take a look at it and try it in place of Kahoot. Thanks.